my suitcase, my clothes are ready to go. Sometimes I don't quite have a checklist with me. So I'm not preparing to prepare. And that's one of the keys. One of the things that can help a lot of us is have a checklist. Have the shampoo you want ready to go, the socks and underwear you want to take with you, the fancy shoes. A lot of the women want to have 4 or 5 different change of outfits to be ready. Most of us guys can one pair of jeans and 1 or 2 t-shirts and we're happy. And sometimes that's appropriate and sometimes it's not. What happens if there's 1 or 2 t-shirts and you spill milk? Oh, okay, you spill beer on your shirt, some alcohol, and you need to drive down the street to go somewhere. You don't want to smell like alcohol. You could get pulled over. So you need to prepare for those things. Sure, maybe you're just going overnight, one night, and you could do without brushing your teeth one day, unless you're with your significant other. Then that probably wouldn't work. So you need to prepare. Make sure you have that toothbrush and toothpaste put away. Maybe an extra toothbrush and toothpaste, extra pair of socks. You know, sometimes we go somewhere overnight and we may get stuck in the airport or the weather may change and sometimes our clothes kind of stink. You get a little bit of odor from your socks and worse yet, your drawers. So you prepare to have an extra set of drawers with you at all times. Maybe in your carry-on luggage. Or if you drive all the time, do you have a little bag in the back seat or maybe in the trunk that you don't touch? It's just there. Maybe it's just called your just in case bag. You're just in case something goes wrong. You're just in case I need one more cup of coffee. So maybe you have a little bit of instant coffee in your bag or an extra mug. Or how many times have you ordered food to go out and you take in your car, maybe to the hotel room, and you forgot a fork, a spoon, or worse yet, maybe a knife if you have steak or some tough meat to cut up. A lot of us forget those things. And that's okay. We're human. It happens to each and every one of us. Especially if you're married, you expect your spouse to have everything under control. And sometimes they expect you to have everything under control. So part of being prepared to be prepared is not pointing fingers, but to discuss ahead of time who's going to be in charge of packing, who's going to be in charge of putting gas in the car, who's going to be in charge of ensuring you have jackets. Because I travel a lot and I do not wear a jacket in California, but I do travel a lot, and it could be important to see if it's raining where you're going, if it's snowing, if it's windy, if it's just going to be cold. And you may not need a coat, maybe just a sweater or long sleeve shirts, but be prepared for that. That should be part of your checklist. You need to go out there and figure out, all right, so I need to check the weather channel before we go. All right, I got it. Now, what happens if you drive maybe every weekend somewhere out of town? Which is great. It's a lot of fun. And sure, you're checking your gas, but are you paying attention to your oil? Are you paying attention, make sure your brakes are good? And what about your registration? Is your sticker still good till the end of your trip? Or do you need to take care of all that ahead of time? Ahead of time. Now, I'm fortunate. I have a friend of mine who has a mobile oil changing business, and she gives me a call and says, I'll be in your area in a couple weeks. I think it's time to change your oil. Or she'll ask me. But she knows I travel in and out of town a lot. And she knows I put a lot of miles on my car. And she'll check up on me because she's prepared to be prepared. I'm not asking her to. It's her job, it's her business, and she cares about her clients, and we're friends. And she wants to make sure I'm prepared or I'm ready for an emergency wherever I may go. Now, some people have auto care like AAA, or they auto club AAA or something through World Ventures or there's other things out there where they could tow your car if you're part of the plan. Did you pay the premium? Are you up to date on your bills? Are you late? Do you have a checkbook in your car? I know most people don't write checks anymore. I totally get it. But occasionally I do. And sometimes when I'm on the road, I'll bring all my bills with me that need to be paid within the next week. And I'll pay a little bit every day to make sure they get paid if the money isn't in the bank before I leave. So it's important to check on those things. Make sure you have the finances. How many of us have left the house and left our debit card at home? Our driver's license at home? No identification whatsoever. It happens. Or you may have locked yourself out of the house. Do you have a spare set of keys somewhere? Do your kids or someone you trust have a spare key to your car, your house? Maybe a will. Are you prepared? Do you have a will? Sure, we normally don't want to talk about what could happen, besides losing things, losing our minds when we're out and about. But be prepared for the unexpected. And the unexpected for most of us could include death, illness, sickness, our spouse leaving us, our dog leaving us, the car breaking down. What are you going to do about it? What have you learned to do about it? Now, a lot of people like me have to keep my figure into shape and need to make sure I have enough food for my journey wherever I may go. Do you have those extra cookies or popcorn or better yet, fruits and vegetables, maybe some beef jerky just to fill that palate until you have a regular meal? Now, sure, it could be mindless eating, and that's not healthy for any of us. But maybe just a little bit. Maybe some raisins. Raisins are great. Bananas are great. And what about a trash bag in the car? Great, you have all these fruits and vegetables, and now you have nowhere to put the trash. Be prepared for that. You know, I do a lot of filming, and it's important we have a backup camera. I usually just use the camera on my laptop. It works great. But from time to time, there's glitches. It's still technology. There are still updates and things changing all around us each and every day. And there are bugs. Let's face it, there are not just the creepy crawly bugs. There are bugs in everything, and people are trying to hack into us day in and day out. Do you have a backup plan? A spare computer, maybe a tablet? And our phones often lose charge really quickly. Do you have a couple different chargers with you? One for the car and one for the outlet. It's always good to have a backup. You never know. Now, what if you have an iPhone and your spouse has an Android? So that's obviously two different chargers. So you need two different chargers for the car and two different chargers for the wall at the house. Are you prepared? Does your spouse have her purse with her favorite lipstick and perfume or whatever else is in a woman's purse? I really do not know. And make sure you have enough cash. You can stash it around the car in your suitcases, a couple extra dollars here and there. But make sure you have enough cash. I don't care, you have all the credit cards in the world. You lose your wallet, and of course your cash usually goes with it. But sometimes you're putting your debit card in an ATM machine or even in the gas station in the pump trying to get to work. And it could be too hot or too cold outside, and it's just not going to read. Have a few extra bucks. I know recently, sometimes I get valet parking or have baggage come up to my room wherever I am. Do you have a few dollars in your pocket to give the bellman or someone who's helping carry your bags? Hey, small things to think about, and most of them will take 20s and $50 bills. So it's up to you if you're that generous, or maybe you need to break down some of that ahead of time. Whatever it is, I'm just going to say and encourage you to be prepared, and be ready for the unexpected. Give me some of your thoughts, some of your ideas, and better yet, some of your wisdom. Life is too short. Let's share what we know, and let's ask the question, are you prepared? This has been Joseph Skoda,